Now I want to make a few edits to the styles. In fact, here, A Scandal in Bohemia and that Roman numeral 1, I would like them to be the same style, my heading 2. So I'm going to double click to get inside the box, and if I click in paragraph styles on the right and click once on heading 2, it applies it and it brings the body style closer because my heading 2 does not have a space after. I think on all of my styles I want them centered. So if I click in the words Adventure 1, that's using heading 1. And if I double click on heading 1 and make an edit, it will update heading 2 as well. So in indents and spacing, I could change the alignment to center, and both heading 1 and heading 2 update together. And I'll click OK. Now if I wheel down, I'll notice there's a lot of italicized type, and I've applied the quotes style to everything that's italic. But I want to see where they are better, and I think I've decided they need a little bit of space after to separate them from the body style. So I'm going to double click on quotes and first indent them. So in indents and spacing, I'll do a left indent of 0.25 and hit Tab on my keyboard, which triggers the preview that's on. Now I'll just click the up arrow once to add a little space after so I could see single lines versus double lines a little bit more separated. And if I hit it one more time, I can get a bit more separation, and there I'm seeing that it looks a bit better to me. And I'll click OK. Now this may also help you catch spots that you've missed. So anything that's not in quotes will be in the body style, and here quoted text will be in the quote style. So I'll wheel down a bit, and everything's looking good so far. And there is one spot in this document where I have another heading 2. It's the occurrence of the Roman numeral 3. And it should jump out at me because it's on a line by itself. Or I could simply jump to the page if I know it offhand. It is page 14. So I'm going to click on the Roman numeral 3, click once on heading 2, and now that's centered and it's that color. The benefit of having styles is if I decide I no longer want green for all of the headings, I can come back to page 1. You can navigate to page 1 here in the lower left corner and click the arrow and choose one, or I prefer to go to pages and double click on 1. But I forgot that 1 is the cover, 2 is where the actual chapter 1 starts. It's important to click on something using a style before you edit the style. Because if you have nothing selected and you were to go to paragraph styles and double click on heading 1, InDesign will change the default for all new text boxes to heading 1. So to make sure that doesn't happen, I always go to something in the style I want to change before double clicking to edit the style. And I'll go to character color and I'll change this back to black. And when I click OK, I see that everything is updated, heading 1 and heading 2, because heading 2 was based on heading 1. Now I've decided to specify a new font for the body style, and my quotes style is based on my body style. So I'm going to double click on body, but you'll notice I clicked in something using the body first. Then I double click on body, go to basic character formats, and I'll choose another font that ships with the Creative Suite. This one will look quite different, the letter Gothic. And you may not have all the fonts that I have, but I'll choose letter Gothic standard. And once I see this applied to the body text, that's painful and difficult to read. So I think I'll stick with a serif font. Serifs are the fancy notches that give characters more shape. A perfect example of a serif font is Times New Roman, or Times, or Adobe Garamond Pro. But I'm going to go with Chaparral Pro, which is another font that ships with the Creative Suite. There we go. Much better. much more pleasing to the eye, and I'll leave all the size the same. But if I click OK and wheel down and click in something using the quotes, you could see that also updated to Chaparral Pro. So the beauty of using styles is it gives you global editability. In case you want to make a change, I don't have to click 4 times on every paragraph that wants to change, come up here and change it for all 18 pages in this document. In fact, after the formatting's done, in the Pages panel, I can see by this empty icon that there's nothing on page 18. I double-clicked to go there, and now I'll click the trash can once to delete page 18. The affected object on the page is probably the text box that was linked there, so I'll click OK and let it go. And now on 17, I could see everything is fitting. So explore this Holmes Chapter 1 edit document and play with the fonts you have on your system and the colors, editing your heading 1 and your body style. You don't want to edit heading 2 or quotes because heading 2 is based on heading 1, so it's best to make the change there. And quotes is based on body, so it's best to make the change there. Unless you wanted a completely different font for quotes, but that isn't really a recommended way to format a page. Usually you want 2 fonts per page, and you can use varying styles of those 2 fonts like bold or italic or light or plain. But experiment with editing styles on your own, and hopefully you'll gain an understanding for why we start with styles and how powerful they are.